Hey gang, Diana here today with a video highlighting and demonstrating some new supplies I received for my birthday, and they all happen to be from JetPens. So I thought I'd share both the haul with you and a little demonstration of how these items work. Okay, let's dive right in here. I have some water. I can set that aside for a few minutes. These are Menso Japanese pens, brushes. They're both, I think they're called Cartoonist brushes, but you can see how crazy that looks when it's dry. It doesn't have a point, but when it's wet, I'm just over here with my water here. You can see that it comes to quite a nice point, and it's really great for really fine lines. You could certainly use a liner pen, but these are, I think one is goat and one is squirrel hair. I also got a small set, one of the smaller sets of the Gansai, Kuretake Gansai Tambi watercolors. Now these were hit the street last year, and I didn't buy them because I thought it's another set of watercolors, which it is. However, I'm glad I did get them. They're actually a pretty good price point, and the pigmentation is pretty good. They're typical Japanese paints in that some of the colors are more opaque. It's hard to tell right here, but that's the color swatches on this set. And what's actually a pretty good price point, and the pigmentation is pretty good. They're typical Japanese paints in that some of the colors are more opaque. It's hard to tell right here, but that's the color swatches on this set. The last thing I got was this Etegami paper. Now, Etagami is a Japanese tradition, custom, where it's a postcard. And it's supposed to be a very kind of crude, and not crude, but a simple, non-professional, non-practiced, right from the heart to the paper sort of thing. And then you're to put a stamp on it, address it, and send it. There's no, oh, this is bad. This is kind of a tradition, is that it doesn't matter if it's clumsy, it certainly can be clumsy, and non-professional. And I think that's, as you probably know if you've watched enough of my videos, that's a tradition I like to embrace, that it doesn't have to be perfect. It's if it's from the heart, it is a perfect expression. And there's several different kinds of paper. I got the green kind, which is a blur of 5. So it blurs the paint. You'll see. It's like sumi-e paper. It blurs when you get it onto the paper. And this yellow is blur 4. I think there's less blurs. I don't really know exactly why I went with this, but I did. And that's okay. I played with that, sort of played with it and played with it. And let's do a little demo. Same as any kind of watercoloring, I like to have 2 clean pots of water, one for dirty and one for clean. Let's get started. As I said, and let me tell you, when you open any kind of a Japanese brush, most brushes, you'll find that they're stiff. So just rinse in water until that stiffness goes away. And once again, this is really a nice fine point. I have a super fine and a fine. I have liner brushes, and they're good too. And the one thing I have noticed about these Gansai Tambis is that they are sort of soft, the palette. I'm going to set this aside and give things a squirt. They are a nice size, Let me just give you a close-up. These each come out so you can replace them, and JetPens has all the colors so you can replace them. They're a nice size for dipping a brush into, which is first of all a really good thing. They have a fair amount, I'd say that's about halfway, maybe 3/4 of the way full. So there's a fair amount of paint in there. I'm just going to spray them off screen. I don't know that it's strictly necessary to spray these to reconstitute, as they do seem pretty soft to me. Okay, so this is the Blur 4. So let's just take a look and see how that works. I'm going to grab my larger pen and just get it wet. Just get some of that water out of it. And let's see, what color? I have my swatch here, so I think I will go with this color here, and I'm going to get some water on it and really see how much, so you can see how much this blur. Okay, I'm adding some water into that blue paint now, and it's the paint, as I said, it's very soft. I don't really know how much water it needs, so I'm just playing around here with amounts and adding the more paint you have in the ratio of paint to water, the less it's going to blur. So that's good to keep that in mind when using this paper if you want to have some control over it. And I'm going around and around to see how much it's going to push out. And as that paint is sitting there, it is starting to feather out. Some colors are going to be more blurring than others, but you can see that edges are getting soft, and I'm speeding this up a little bit and just adding some line work for stems. Of course, they became flowers. I was going to go a little more abstract, but that didn't happen. And just just playing with it, see what happens, going very light up on the tip of that brush, and you can see the wide variety of line you can get. Here I'm adding some water to see if I can get it to spread a little bit more. Later on in the next video, you'll see a better example of how blurry this gets, how much you can blur this. And here I'm just using the brush as sort of a, I guess you could call it a stamper, but you can see that blurring. So maybe the blue is not as doesn't move as well as the green does. And here's just some yellow. I'm just painting around the background, dropping some paint in and watching that color spread. Going to the smaller brush now and doing some very fine line work, and I'm holding the brush a little bit different way, in a very upright way, so that the brush, you can really get up onto the tip of that brush and get a really fine line. That just takes some practice. You just play and practice with that until, and just adding some more line work to this little composition. This just sort of came about accidentally, and I'm liking the way that the paints, between the paint and the paper, they're blending really beautifully. And this is I started to get just so excited by this whole process. I think you can get very similar results if you want to play with Sumier paper. I will link that below as well. I'm just adding some more color to this background just to sort of indicate leaves, and now some patterny dots, and you can really see that red spreading. That red was really spreading. So it might have been the paper was wetter at this point. Who knows? It's just fun to play, super fun to play with. So that is it for this video. I actually recorded some like 45 minutes, so I will be back with at least one more video for this little series. And give me a thumbs up if you like this, and subscribe, and hop on over to my blog for more pictures. Links are below. See you soon.